Hello friends, it's a week of the young child. I'm Benita Flores-Muñoz and I'm going to share some ideas with you about cooking in the classroom with children because today is Tasty Tuesday. Week of the Young Child is a week that we celebrate all across the United States, celebrating young children and the importance that they play in our lives. Tasty Tuesday, doesn't that sound exciting? What better way to celebrate Tasty Tuesday than to share a tasty snack? While I share and demonstrate some of that, I'm also going to be embedding the lessons that we teach young children when we're cooking with them. Lessons about health and safety, ways to incorporate literacy while you're cooking with your child, and even looking at the math and science that goes into cooking activities. So let's start with health and safety. There's no better time than the situation we're in right now when it comes to washing hands. And I washed my hands right before I started videotaping, but we all know, and if you didn't know before this video, that we do have to wash our hands for at least 20 seconds with soap and water and really lather those hands. So the lesson that you can share with children, whether they are the children in your classroom or the children in your home, is that when they're washing their hands, we want to make sure that they're really scrubbing in between their fingers, that they're scrubbing and lathering the tops of their hands, of course the palms of their hands, and even up to their wrists. So we want to make sure that we wash really well. And 20 seconds, well, about the time that it takes you to sing the alphabet song, because there's 26 letters in the alphabet, and so when you sing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I've said my ABCs. Tell me what you think of me. Or next time will you sing with me? Rinse your hands, dry them, you're ready to cook. I wanted to let you know that following this video, I'm going to have a few links to some cooking activities and ideas that you can do with the children in your life, and also some photos of actual easy snack recipes that some of our child development students have created. I'm going to show you two, and then there will be probably, I think I have 5 or 6 that I'm actually going to post on the links that you can see the actual photos. And so the first one that I'm going to show you is a dragonfly snack. And to create this particular healthy snack, you need graham crackers, peanut butter, pretzels, and apples. And then you help to put that together. You do a little bit of prep work, getting the apples cut for the wings of the dragonfly, and then you follow step by step to create that nice little dragonfly on top of the graham cracker. Another fun one, and who doesn't like pancakes, but this one is called piggy cakes, and it is simply taking 2 pancakes, and they can be homemade or the ones you buy in the freezer section. You need some bananas, and you're going to make a little banana nose and ears shaped from there, and then add blueberry eyes and drink it with some milk. These are recipes that are easy for children to follow because they're following them picture by picture and helping to create their own snack. But today I thought, wow, let me share a favorite story, and I'm not going to read this book, but I am going to have a link to this story in case you don't have this book, and it's called The Doorbell Rings by Pat Hutchins. And what I really like about this book is that in the story, Mom bakes chocolate chip cookies, and as they come out of the oven, the doorbell rings, and the 2 children know that they have 12 cookies, but then the doorbell rings and a guest comes over. And so now they look at their 12 cookies and realize they have to share those cookies with the guest. And every time the doorbell rings again, another guest comes. This story in itself, as you read through it, and for you that go to the link afterwards, you'll see, wow, this is a great lesson in social behavior and how to share, but it's also a great math lesson in how you take 12 cookies and divide them amongst so many different people. So it's one of the reasons I really like to start cooking in the classroom with books that also correspond to cooking. So guess what we're going to make? You know, when you make chocolate chip cookies or any other kind of food item, you have a list of ingredients, and you always have to be really prepared and ready for children. I tell my students often, if you don't have a plan for children, they will have a plan for you. So before we even think about what do I need to make chocolate chip cookies, I'm going to need flour, I'm going to need brown sugar, I'm going to need the chocolate chip morsels, some butter, vanilla. I need to make sure that I have all the ingredients I need. And then I also have to look at the utensils. I'm going to need a mixing bowl. I'm going to need a spoon or a electric mixer, right? I might need to have measuring spoons and measuring cups. So there are a lot of utensils as well as new vocabulary words that we can share with children as we're using these utensils. We're going to use a spatula once they're cooked to take them off of the cookie tray. We have our baking tray, and we might, in some cases, we might use a silicone mat like this so the cookies don't stick. And some other cooking tools we might use are tongs. And all of these utensils, whether it's a tong or a spatula, or even as simple as a mixing spoon, are so great for young children's fine motor skills. These are going to be very important in tightening the small muscles in their fingertips, which are going to be very important for their writing skills as they learn to write their names and as they are drawing and those types of important skills. So, lots of ingredients go into making chocolate chip cookies. Or you could be like me and simply go and get the Pillsbury chocolate chip cookie dough already ready to go and simply put on your cookie sheet. So I don't have all the measuring like I would if I was making it by scratch, but I can still see that there's a lesson to be learned here. In fact, there's a really good math lesson to be learned here. Do you see it? Yeah. So Pillsbury did the work for me, and they created these portion-sized cookies just ready for me or the children to cut and place on the tray. And I can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 in each row. And we could use this as a counting activity and count each row so that the children could see how many they are. And if there are older children, I could also count how many columns do I have, right? Well, I have 4 in a row, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. So 6 times 4 is 24. It immediately became a math lesson. And then remember I talked about those fine motor skills. So for young children, we want them to have most of the experience in the cooking activity. We want them to be able to do as much of it as possible. So with pre-made cookie dough like this, it's already in little sections, but then you let the child have a butter knife so that they can cut through the little grid marks that are already there, to cut each of the cookies, if you will, into individual pieces. And then, right, they've used the knife, strengthening those small muscles in in their hands, and then you can take a fork to pick them up, or you can bring out those fancy tongs and let them practice. And this is really hard for young children, just getting that pincher control of holding onto the tongs and letting them pull a cookie from the package onto the tray. And in the early childhood classroom, we want to make sure that we're making enough cookies for the whole class, but that we're also making enough so that everybody has a chance to participate in the cooking activity, whether they're each using the tongs to put a cookie on a tray, or if they're getting a chance to cut the cookie, or if we're mixing it by hand, that everybody gets a chance to stir or to add some of the ingredients in there. We'll also share some lessons about the tools that we use, and that these are all measuring cups. And did you know that we use measuring cups for liquid and measuring cups for dry ingredients, and that they are different? The measuring cups for dry ingredients are flat, so that way we can come back after we have filled this 1/4 cup with flour or maybe brown sugar. Then we can take a knife across the top and flatten it so that we have just exactly 1/4 cup. And of course, the liquid measuring cup has a little spout, and that tells us that that's for liquid, so that it's easy to pour. So many lessons are going to happen in this cookie recipe. And I guess I'm going to have to finish laying them out on the pan and cooking them. I hope you have a wonderful week of the young child. Have a great week. Bye.